loop variable must be initialized outside the loop. Okay. Then means if I use some I, means suppose I want to print the first 10 numbers or anything like that. So this is my initialization, I equals to 0, that's supposed to be kept there. Then I should go for I less than equals to 10. Then I should go for the printf statement. And then before the loop ends, I should perform the increment. So if I miss this statement, I do not have the idea from where to start. If I forget to give this statement, then also I do not know where to go or how much time it should execute. If I forget to give this increment, then also it will problem because it will never reach to the ending point. So for all possible situation, it may lead to a situation which is turn the loop into some infinite loop. Now, if instead of this operator, if I use the opposite one, then also the condition will never end. The condition will never satisfy, and that's why it will go in through the infinite loop. So this is just the general structure. Now, this is one kind of while loop where I know some regular counter is there which can be used in the single increment or the double increment this way. But just a minute. If it is going for something else, if it is going for whether a number is palindrome or not, or suppose you want to find the reverse of a number, in all those cases, we use the program or we use the counter in some different way. You all have done them, done all those program in the first year most probably. So if I want to find something that whether, suppose reverse of a number. If I want to do reverse of a number, then what we do? Now we take the input of the number. We take the input a number n. Then whenever we need to go for the reversing of the number, we use the division operator, multiplication, modulo division operator to check that whether I can reach to the situation that where my result is getting reduced. Means whenever we do reversing of a number, what we do? Now we do like this, that while n greater than 0 or not equals to 0. Fine. That means I need to do something which makes this n as 0. There is a chance which can make this n as a 0. So how I should proceed? Now here I may take some reminder n modulo 10. Okay, fine. So if I take suppose a number 235. Fine. If I do this, means I'm just telling that one way of using the loop variable, that is with the regular increment decrement. They are called counter controlled. But there are something which is called sentinel control. So the type that I am discussing now, it's basically sentinel control. Sentinel. Okay. So in case of this control, what we do, that is, now we do not have any regular increment or decrement thing. We will use these variables and we will do some calculation and we will get to know. So now if I do this, this will give us r equals to what? R equals to here, basically r equals to 5. Okay, fine. So if I'm trying to make a reverse or the summation of individual digits, whatever, this kind of program, then I'm getting this 5 here. Okay, fine. Now suppose I'm doing it for individual digit sum. So I will do it this way. Make over means anything, whatever. I'm not specific, but I'm just focusing that how this n can be changed. So the next digit, whether I'm doing sum, whether I'm doing anything else, this is for individual digit sum. So this is AC somewhere else supposed to be before the loop, supposed to be declared as S equals to 0. So this is 0 plus 5. Next, what is my target? My n supposed to reach to the 0. So how that can be? I cannot write n minus minus. That's not possible. I cannot even write n plus plus. But what I can do, if I do n equals to n by 10, after some iteration, it will make 0. Means for the first time, it is 10. So if I do 235 by 10, then this result is nothing but the 23. You know the operator operations, it's an integer division. So it will give you the 23. So now n becomes 23. So it has become reduced, but not a regular decrement. I mean, this kind of counter is called sentinel control loop, or this kind of, wherever you are using this, they are called sentinel controlled. When you use normal increment, regular increment, decrement, whether it is increment by 1, increment by 2, they are called counter controlled. But this kind of loop, that is possible generally in the while loop. If I want to use in the for loop, it will not be that much user friendly. So in case this kind of thing is called sentinel control, where no regular increment. So this become 23, right? So now 23 not equals to 0, fine. So in the next iteration, 23 modulo 10. So if you do that, so next you will get 3. So it will be, initially it was the 0 plus 5. Now 0 plus 5 is already 5. So 3 will be added. Next, whenever you do 23 by 10, you will get it as 2. Okay. And again the 2 you will get here. And now when you will do in the last phase, when you will go do the 2 by 10, obviously it will give you the 0. So the loop, this condition will no more true. It will break. Fine. So this way. Now when further you want to print S or whatever, that's a different issue. But this is the way the loop works. Loop means it must have some initial value. For this kind of program, you are taking the n value from the user. Then you are doing whatever the checking or anything. This n has to be checked, because this is your main thing which has to be checked, whether it is true, false or anything. So you need to write the condition properly by understanding that what may be the requirement. And then you need to reduce it. If sometimes for some program you need to increment it, you will do that. But for this one, you need to decrement it, and you are doing this way, right? So we generally do this kind of program using this sentinel control in the while only. Okay. So I'm just discussing one by one structure and all. Now, if I go for your for loop, if I go for the for loop. Generally, most popular loop are while and for mainly. Now, whether the variable can be comprises of expressions, it should be evaluated to some value. Otherwise, you cannot use them properly. Because every time it's required. And anything, another thing, whenever you are using the loop means the while loop will execute indefinitely if this is true. It will break only if it become false. Then only it will stop its execution. Otherwise, it will execute continuously. Now, if I go for the for loop, what is the general structure of the for loop? See, in case of while loop, I am taking the initialization outside, then I am taking the condition checking, then at the before the ending of the loop, I am getting before the ending of the loop, I should use the increment decrement. And if it is sentinel control, then I use that n value, means any decrement increment before the end of the loop. For the for loop, what is my structure? For the for loop, my initialization supposed to be done here only. Then my condition must be there. And then my increment or decrement must be there. Fine. Now the point is that is my writing this initialization here, condition here, is all these are mandate? No, it's not mandate. For the execution of your entire loop, these are important. These are important. But is this like that I have to, what I need to write here is something always I equals to 10, I equals to 5? No. Any valid expression can be written. Anything valid. Now, whether that will execute or will give you a proper output, that's a different issue. But if I write anything valid, any valid expression, that's okay. That means I can use scanf statement also here. Fine. I may use any other expression also here. That's okay. How many initialization statement I can write? Is it only one or more than one? I can write more than one initialization statement. Fine. Now, for the condition, again, preferably for the conditional statement, you should write the condition. Otherwise, again, things may not be giving you any desirable result. Same thing for the increment or decrement type. I can use any valid thing, any valid thing. So for each and everything, if I want that I will use this or I will use not, if it is a normal valid statement, I can use. Like the multiple initialization, can I use multiple conditional statement? No, that's not possible. Multiple conditional statement is not possible. Okay. So this is the very basic thing. Now, if I do not write anything inside the loop, then also I need to use this semicolon, because the for loop is actually this. Whether these are blank, whether that are written throughout the program or not, that's a different thing. But if I forget to give this two things, it will not work. It will not simply work if I forget to give this two things. So this has to be given. Okay. And anything else? Yes. Now if I go for the nesting of the loops, most of the programs that we use that involve the nesting of the loop. So nesting of the loop means what? If I go for the while loop, whatever is written here, based on the thing, you may write here some other loop. And then now both the things, both the loop For this while loop, initialization may be outside. For this while loop, before this loop start, the initialization must be there. Means I'm writing for I as the initialization. So for this, initialization must be before the loop start. For this loop also you may use the initialization outside, but that depends on the requirement. If this is depend on somehow this value, then it should be inside the loop. So here, before the starting of any loop, the initialization must be there. Before the ending of any loop, means for this loop, loop 2, increment decrement must be here. For loop 1, that is the outer loop, this will be here. So how they will execute? If something is evaluated as true and in coming to the, then it will come to the next statement, and if that is any statement is here, then that will execute, and then it will enter this entire while loop. And whatever the things are there, they will execute one by one statement, and once this is complete, then only the control transfer here, then again the checking or anything will go here. Fine. It's not like that they will go continuously in this order, then come here, then go. No, it will complete, then only go. Means once the inner loop will break, then only it go for the outside. Now, when we need the nested kind of loop, in general, when we need to go for, suppose a program where I need to check whether a number is a, suppose Armstrong number or not. So Armstrong number, for that you need to check that whether sum of means cube of the individual digits is equals to the number itself or not. Now, if I say that in a range of a number, you need to check what are the Armstrong number. So in the range, whenever I'm telling something with the individual range means it's itself a loop, and you know that Armstrong number is again another loop. So that means it must be one loop inside another loop, one for the range and another within that range. For each number, you need to check whether it is Armstrong number or not. Fine. So this way you need to continue. Those who are very habituate and every day you do programming, you are very confident, for them these are not problem. But those who are not so habituate in the programming, you will face problem. You may not face the problem when you are checking whether it is Armstrong number or not, but you will face the problem in this range. Whenever you need to take the entire range, you will face the problem. Fine. What about the for loop? Means if can I go for the for loop nesting? Yes, obviously. So for suppose this is a I loop with some value I, this, and then it will come here. See, your programming language may differ the syntax, but your concept is same for each and individual language. Fine. So if you understand C, you will understand other language also. Okay. Now, as I am using the single statement, I am not bothered. Means inside this for loop, I am using, again, in the loop also the same thing. If I want to execute more than one statement, I should use this block, means the pair of curly braces. If I do not use, then only the first statement will execute, rest will not execute. Now, here, how things will actually occur? Now, I equals to 1, I less than equals to 5. Yes, it's true. So the moment it will true, it will come here. Then j equals to 1, then it will go for j less than equals to 5. If it is, then it will come here. Once it is done, then again the control will go back here. J will be incremented. So once j will incremented, then the control will again go back here. So then it will iterate in this area only. So whenever the condition will true, this printf star will execute. Whenever this condition will fail, the moment it will fail, it will give the control to here. Okay. Then the I will be incremented, and then again this will be checked, and then again it will come. Okay, so this is the way the control means. I'm just trying to tell that if it is a nested loop, depending upon the means, if it is a one loop is with I, one loop is with J, one loop is with K, so it will first come into the loop with the initialization value of I, then it will do the check, then if it is true, then it will come to the J, again it will start from the initial value of the J and the condition of this. Now with this, if it is true and inside that inside the J if there is the K, then K will execute. So every time inner loop will complete its execution fast, and then it will move forward to the statement which is actually specified out of just outside of the loop. And whenever a loop is complete, it will execute the very next statement which is just after the loop, unless until it has something that it should send the control to the outer loop. If all the loops are complete, then whenever a loop is complete, after the closing brace, whatever the statement is there, that will execute. No other thing will execute. Now when and where these are important, whenever we need to print some pattern, we need to take the help of this nested for loop. We need to understand, means suppose if suppose output is 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4, suppose you need to create this kind of output, then means if you say that can't I do it using while loop, yes, nobody is stopping you, but we have a general tendency that for checking whether a number is Armstrong, palindrome, all or prime, all those things, and in the range, then we go for that while kind of loop. If we go for the pattern printing and all, we should go for using this kind of thing. Suppose this is the thing you want to print. So what we can see, there are 4 lines, and in each line number, the digit that is getting printed, that is basically what? That is basically, it's from initial value to the line number. So if I start in this way, for I equals to 1, if I say print I, it's not giving me the value. So it's for I equals to 4. So 4 lines are there. So suppose I'm taking it as, okay, I less than equals to 4, 1 2 3 4. Okay, fine, go for that. Then from here, if I only print the I, so what will happen? The I will print 1, then 2, then 3, but it's not. I need to print this way. So what I need to do? Suppose J equals to 1. Okay. Then you can see that if I consider that outer loop is maintaining the number of line, then the last digit is actually depending upon the line number. Means in the second line, the last digit is 2. In the third line, the last digit is 3. In the last line, the fourth line, the last digit is 4. So you can say that J is less than equals to I. So for the first iteration, it will be what? It will be J equals to 1, then possible value of I is 1, so 1. For the second iteration, what? J is 1, but I value is 2, so the possible value is 1 and 2. If I go for when the I will, so whenever it will reach to the 2, it will break and it will again go back here and I will be incremented. So then I is 3, then it will take 1 2 3. So 1 2 3, because J will execute for 3 possible values. J initial value is 1. Every time J will increment and it will reach till the value of pi which is decided. So I is taking the control. I is the outer loop and it has the complete control over the J. Fine. Yeah, sometimes it happens that this may be again a, means although it is executing I number of times, the J loop will execute I number of times, but the how many times the J will execute for each case, that may not directly depend on the I. It may be some different specified value. But for this program, it will execute in this way. Okay. Now, so this is only if this kind of triangle is there, you can go for this. This is applicable if I go for kind of series of addition, 1 plus 1 plus 2, 1 plus 2 plus 3, means the way. You need to check the pattern, how things are getting changed. Now, these are very simple things. You may go for that, calculate the summation of all the, means whenever the TCS is offering you this kind of series or pattern program, they go for this a mix of series, that for each number in a bracket, everything must be Fibonacci, or Fibonacci and prime number series. Different combination may be there, or they may specify some other conditions. So that means in that case, inside a loop, you need to calculate the number, or you may use function. Yes, we will discuss the function later class, but at present you just know, means it may be like this. You need to check that how things and numbers are being generated, how many numbers and how things are being generated. Things are going in this way. You need to check. And for any kind of pattern, only the loop is the savior, and in general the for loop. Now it may be anything, it may be 1 by 1, it may be 1 by 2, this way also. That means for each case the 1 is constant, but the rest, means I is always constant, or whatever the number is there, 1 is constant, but the number which is after this division symbol, that is suppose a variable. So first time I is 1, second time I is 2, this way. You need to check the pattern all the time. It may not require even nesting. Now, this is one kind of thing. Now, if the requirement is that suppose I need to maintain this kind of triangle. I'm just telling about the triangle, but it's not necessarily triangle. It may be like some other shape. If I go for this rhombus kind of shape or anything, or it may be like this, that there will be in the 4 corner, 4 star will be there, and in the middle there will be some and symbol or symbol must be there. So if I need to print a symbol, I need to take a single quote and then give this. So that's not an issue. But how this can be done? Now here you can consider that I need to know how I need to calculate the space. Yes, in the previous class we have done some 0.5, all these things, that how much space can be left in the left side, but that cannot be used here. Individually you need to apply your brain and to calculate that what is the number of spaces, how many spaces here, means for printing the first star, how many space you need to print. Once that is done, you will go to the next line. That means there must be another loop which can be used for space calculation. In the next line, the number of spaces are, for the printing, number of spaces is getting reduced by 1. In the next step, that means the loop that is supposed to be used for space calculation will start with a quite larger value, and at each step it's supposed to decrement. So one space triangle is like this. So you have to, after each, whenever you're going to print a star or any number, you need to follow that, and you need to do the reverse thing when you are going to. So these are things where you need to apply your brain little bit, do the calculation properly, do the loop formation properly, because whatever the program we do, the loop is, you may consider it's a very important and the trivial thing. If you don't understand loop, now you may say, ma'am, you just tell a little 20 minutes or 30 minutes and I don't understand. Nobody can make you understand unless until you practice. You take your own pattern. These are the sample pattern or the series that I am talking about, but it's not obviously limited to this. You may go for plenty of option, and then only you can understand that what exactly it is, you can understand. Otherwise what will happen, that you know how it works, but you cannot do anything. Fine. So this is the way we Means these are the different ways or different situations where we need to take the help of this. Obviously, today also I will give you the assignment and you need to complete that, then only I will go for something else. Next is there is another loop structure which is called do while, although whenever we do programming, we don't want to use that in general. Do while is of a specific structure where it starts with the do statement, and this is the structure. Whatever you want to write, you may write, but the conditional checking is at the end. So it may happen that even the condition is false, things are getting executed, the statements are getting executed. This is the structure. See, in case of for loop, the semicolons are in the intermediary way, the after initialization, after conditional statement and all. In case of while loop, inside the means this kind of loop structure, anywhere you are not supposed to mention the semicolon, but the do while look like this. Okay, what happen if anywhere you will get the semicolon? Now semicolon may be considered as an independent statement and it will execute and that way. Now whenever we are dealing with the loop, we may go with two different statements. Means sometimes we need to use two different statements. One is break and another one is continue. Now both of this statement is actually almost opposite in nature. Means if I write that if I write some, say I equals to 2 and while I less than equals to some x minus 1, and then I am writing if x then some statement is there, and then I am breaking this way. So what will happen the moment I will write the break, and if this condition, so when it will break the loop. So whenever it will break the loop, so here it is increment operator and on, the moment it will get a match, suppose if x mod I equals to 0, and then it will execute a statement, and then the break statement is there. The moment it will get the break statement, it will go outside the loop. It will go, the break statement actually provoke entire thing that okay, go outside the loop. It will break the entire loop. Now if it is a multiple loop is there, then it will break the inner loop. Means it will break the loop where it is mentioned. Mean it will go depending upon some condition. If break statement is going to be executing, then it will transfer the control out of that loop. Just a minute. Hello. হ্যাঁ, তো আপনি ওই লোকেশনে দিয়ে দিন, আমি পরে নিয়ে নেব। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, কলেজ সিকিউরিটিকে দিয়ে দিন। আচ্ছা, 1 মিনিট। ওয়ান এইট ওয়ান ওয়ান। ওকে, হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ওকে, fine. So if it is a nested loop, then what will happen? If it is a nested loop, then where you mentioning the break, the control will break or brake will move to, or brake will go the control or move the control outside that loop only. It's not like that, that if you use suppose 3 loops and it will break all the loops. No, that will not going to happen. Similarly, what is happen to continue? Continue is doing the reverse thing. Whenever you will get some continue statement, suppose instead of break here it is continue, now it will transfer the control to the beginning of the loop. It will transfer the control to the beginning of the loop. What will happen? Let me consider one example. Suppose there is one for loop where I is with suppose 1 to 5, suppose it's going. And if I'm going for another loop, suppose it's I plus plus, and inside that, if I go for another loop like j equals to 1, j equal less than equals to, again same loop I'm taking, j equals to 5, and then if the statement is if I equals to j, then it should work as continue. Fine. And then printf %d I and j. Now just let me go with the first situation, that I equals to 1, fine. I less than equals to 5, yes, it's true. So when it is true, then only it will come to the next instruction. The next instruction is j equals to 1. Okay, fine. So if it is j equals to 1, then it will again check whether the j less than equals to 5 or not. Okay, this is also true. Now I is 1 and j is 1. Both are true. But this if statement followed by the continue statement first, then the printf. So what will happen? This printf statement will not execute. The control will go back to the starting of the loop again. So for j equals to 1, this printf statement will not execute. So j will be incremented. J becomes 2. 2 is less than 5. Yes, now this statement will execute. So you may say that if I want to skip some specific statement, I can use this. Okay. If I go out of the loop, so for the continue, it will transfer the control at the beginning of the loop. For the break, it will just go out of the loop and it will execute the statement that is just after the loop. Fine. So see, we have used the break statement in the switch case. The purpose is different. We are using here, the purpose is different. But yes, if you consider whether I am going out of a block, yes, then both the purpose is same. So every time break is moving the control out of a block where it is declared, whether it is switch case, whether it is while, that's different issue. It's just go out of the block and the next statement that is followed the block, that is supposed to be executed. Fine. So these are all about this, and few more interesting things are there. After that, I will give you the today's questions and all I will do, then we will discuss their output and all. See, whenever we do those, what I can say, that printf statement, scanf statement with some format specifier and all, that is okay. But few things that I have forget to discuss in the last class, that there are few things which are called as the escape character. There are few things which are called escape character. Means whenever we need to use different, means we need to write the program or we need to arrange some output or need to find some output or error, these are important. So if I use this, this is very known to you. This is used for new line. We have never used this. This is used for backspace. What it do? Now it will move the, see, new line actually do what? New line move the cursor to the new line, means next line. If I go for the B will move the cursor one position to the left, the way backspace works. So this is for backspace. If I go for F, now that is called form feed. Okay. If I go for form feed, you use it, then only you can understand. Otherwise means it is actually feeding of a line like that. If I go for means if I want to print a single quote, I can use this way. If I want to print a backslash, I need to use in this way. If I want to create a space, if I want to create a long space, means tab, /t is for tab, and generally it gives me 8 space. Carriage return, the R, what it do? Now whatever you are doing, it will transfer the control to the beginning of the line. If I give some A, some alert will come. If I give the double quote, it will go for the double quote. So I want to print that. So these are the different escape characters, means these are valid and everything. If you use, you can get to understand, and these are important. Sometimes means sometimes this N and T means we use as per our choice, but whenever we will do the online programming, at that time you will find that there is some specific requirement is there. Specific requirement is there that it should be of this line, it should have this much of space and all. But if you need to use less than one space, then we can use the normal space operator. We no need to use all those things. Okay, so now I will make you unmute and I will share the question. Let me stop the screen sharing. Stop share. Yes, escape character is same as escape sequence. Fine. So I'm posting it in the chat box, and okay, I'm directly posting it to your Telegram group so that no one should miss it. PPT class 2 is the Word document, and at the end there are some a little bit programs are there. Means those who are doing it for the first time, didn't have done previously properly, for them actually. A is for alert. If I use the A, it will take ping type of one sound. If your computer system is have some speaker, it will generate a sound. Okay, let me share the. Oh. And those who are new, I will really those who are new, they should do the program that I am mentioning here. Those who are very confident, everybody is doing all the things. So every time you are doing the program and confident that there will be no issues, I'm not telling that you have to do that pattern on all, but otherwise you please do the program by yourself. Take any kind of help but for the MCQs, please don't take any help of the compiler. You try to do it by your own, then let us discuss. Otherwise, if you take the support of the compiler, it will happen that you are never confident before the exam. So I have already posted that a few questions in the Telegram directly. So solve it. Before that, don't ask me anything. R is carriage return. What it will do, if I use the escape sequence R,